Hello everyone, and welcome to your second royal reading of this Sunday afternoon. And I have the new Palladini Tarot on the table for this. It's a very royal family kind of tarot deck, an older tarot deck. And I have been asked to look at a story that has gone around and around and around. And I have looked at before. I've looked at it way back in the mists of time, very early on in this channel. And you'll find it somewhere in that very first playlist. But this is the story, the rumor, that Harry and Meghan thought that they were so popular that they actually proposed to the royal family that they co-rule with William and Catherine, that Harry and William share the throne, share the Duchy of Cornwall. I read on that in particular, the Duchy of Cornwall story. That was going around ages ago, as I say, probably 18 months ago. And it did look, according to the reading that I did, as far as I can remember it, I didn't want to look at it before doing this reading. I wanted to come to this reading cold. But as far as I can remember, there was definite energy in that reading that Harry really did think that he should share the Duchy of Cornwall with Prince William. So we're looking at a very similar story now, and I'm not sure of the exact time frame. I don't think anybody who's discussing this story around in the usual places and social media, the usual platforms, has an exact notion of when it happened. There is speculation that it was as a result of the tour to Australia, which Harry and Meghan thought was wildly successful, that they came back. They were the most popular royals ever, and they were going to save the royal family. Without them, the royal family was doomed. Meghan Markle was the new Diana. We've looked at things like that. We've heard about it in Valentine Lowe's book, I think Tom Bower's book as well, about how they came back with their swollen heads from Australia and the other countries that they visited on that tour, that infamous tour where tea was allegedly spilled and Meghan stormed out of a market in, I think it was Fiji, very much offended all the women who'd gathered there, who was so excited to meet her. She did a lot wrong on that tour, which has come out subsequently. That was the dress with the tag, the price tag hanging off it, and all of the rest of it, the see-through clothes, the day spas with Jessica Mulrooney, all of that, the banana bread. But anyway, they thought it was such a brilliant tour that they allegedly, according to this rumor, went to the royals and said, the only way to save the monarchy is for us to co-rule with William and Catherine. William and Catherine are old and dull and stuffy, and you need us. And they were laughed out and then exited. That is the rumor. That is the story we're going to be looking at with the new Palladini Tarot 5-card reading. And I'm just going to have a look at it, see if they did propose this, whose idea was it? Was it Meghan's idea in particular? Was this something that Harry had been stewing over for a significant period? Seems to be very, very jealous of his brother. We saw that in Spare. Very jealous. Can't quite understand that the royal family is the winner takes it all. It's not about sharing. It's about first place gets the whole lot, the whole bundle, but everyone else gets a very cozy life. And you know, nothing wrong with a nice cozy life. Go and cut ribbons, do all those lovely things, and then spend the rest of the time having a jolly good time, never having to worry about money or any of those things that the rest of us have to worry about very intensely. But anyway, and then how the royals reacted, and was this why they exited in high dudgeon, because they thought, oh well, if you're not going to let us share the throne and save you, we're going off to be royals in America. So that's our reading, and let's remind you, before I put the underlying energy out, that this is tarot for fun and entertainment. It's all speculation. It's all my opinion. I read energy here, archetypal energy, because the royal family is the archetypal family. We can learn from archetypes, as Meghan also learned to her cost. And disclaimer in the box below, underlying energy is the Page of Swords. And that is a communication, the Page of Swords. very definitely. It's somebody who's very strategic. Planning and plotting is our little Page of Swords. That's what the Page of Swords does. Researches things, thinks about things, investigates things, plots, plans, strategizes. It's also on high alert, and so there is a one energy of somebody who's thinking, this could be a good strategy going forward, and on the other hand, somebody who's saying we have to be on high alert here. And there was a very abrupt announcement round about this time of Kensington Palace, the Parkles being booted. The foundation that William and Catherine and Harry set up splitting, the Parkles being banished to Frogmore Cottage, all of that happened very abruptly. It says we need to be on high alert here. Something is going down that's dodgy. That's my interpretation of that card. Overall situation, what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with somebody who feels, Hanged Man, that they're being unfairly treated and disempowered, disenfranchised. And while they're hanging there from that tree, they get a big idea. You can see the light bulb moment here for the Hanged Man. As Harry is dangling from that tree, he thinks, I know what, this isn't fair. I'm always the victim. I'm always the one that William's done some bad thing, I get blamed. And we've heard that, we've seen it in Spare. There's a constant narrative from Harry that he was the one that was forced by everybody to be the drunk and the drug taker and the wild, reckless royal. He was the Hanged Man. There it is, somebody who's sacrificed for everyone else. And as he's hanging there, as he's thinking these thoughts about how badly he's been treated and it's not fair, I know what, have a light bulb moment, as I say, guess what? I'm going to be co-king with Willie, as he called him in his book, and as I'm personally quite certain he didn't call him in life. Anyway, so did Harry go trotting along to the Queen and Charles and William and everyone else, probably the Queen, and say, Granny, I need to co-rule with William when it's my turn because I'm better than he is, I'm more popular, and Meghan is. Diana, did he go and say this? I've got the Ten of Wands in reverse. It's not a very off I trot to tell this story. It's more, I can't do this anymore. The Ten of Wands in reverse. This is not right. This burden is terrible and it's heavy. I can't cope. That's more of the energy that I'm getting here. I have to say, it would be quite funny if the Six of Pentacles had showed up and that's the sharing card, and if I'd been able to say, oh yes. But I can't say, oh yes. I can't say that with the Ten of Wands sitting there in reverse. It is more going, Granny, I have been burdened. I have been cast as the villain in this morality tale. I'm sure Harry has never heard of such a thing as a morality tale, but I can't cope anymore. It's not fair. It's too heavy for us. This burden that we are carrying is too heavy for us. More than Nobody Asked If I Was Okay story that we saw in South Africa, that infamous Tom Bradby interview. So that is what the energy that's coming through here. As I say, Duchy of Cornwall reading, that's the money one. That's who gets the big bucks. William, of course, is worth billions now, as far as I understand things. And that must really annoy Harry and Meghan. It would annoy anyone in any family. But this is a different story. This is a different energy that's coming through here. Who's behind this going and saying this is all too much, can't cope? Because that's the story that's coming through here. Who's behind this? Okay, we know who's behind it. The Devil card has shown up. So we know that the Devil was behind this idea. There is right packed underneath this Ten of Wands. I'm getting deeply buried in this Ten of Wands energy, the idea that you could sweeten the deal and we would stay if we could share. that would be the sweetener. That would come from the devil. That idea. It's an agenda. Page of Swords, being strategic. So I think what happened is we can't cope. It's all so terrible. They're all so mean to us. The press is so mean to us. Look how Meghan cried. She was suicidal. The press is full of hate. The racist royals are full of hate. I know people get very upset when I say the racist royals, but that's what Harry and Meghan said. That's not what the royals are. And even they have backtracked on that. And but you could sweeten the deal if we could share, because we really are the most popular. It's packed in there, and it's packed in there because the devil has popped up as the hoof, the cloven hoof showed up in this reading. Massive card, massive. So that's why Page of Swords got the sword up there, saying, I'm ready. I'm ready to go and slay dragons if I have to. The little Page of Swords. How did the royals respond to this quite bizarre story that came to them after, I think, this is the energy from after the South Africa tour, not the Australia tour. How did they respond? What did they say? 10 of Cups in reverse, no. You don't get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's not for you. 10 of Cups in reverse. If you are that unhappy, you don't have to be here. Really don't have to be here. If it's also terrible, if it's 10 of Cups in reverse, if it's not what she thought it was going to be like, she had this idea that it was going to be 10 of Cups, it was all going to be perfect, it was going to be a dream, and it's turned into something quite the opposite. Well then, there's the door. Off you go, Tara. So is this why they exited? Yeah. An absolute yes. Ace of Pentacles upright is a yes. And it's forging a new path, okay? You're not going to acknowledge our pain and our hurt and how we've been victimized and abused and how terrible our lives are and how difficult our lives are. We've got 2 10s here. 10s are endings. 10s are, in fact, past the end point, and now the repercussions, the consequences of the ending. Okay, we're off. We're going to make our fortunes in America, as so many people have done before us. We are also going to go off to America and make our fortunes via Canada. And so Ace of Pentacles, yes, definitely. I think this was a strategy. It wasn't just a demand. This is how it's playing out for me, and I have to emphasize very much that this is my idea of how this played out. This is purely my opinion, my speculation, that after one of those tours, whether it was the Australia tour or the South Africa tour, I'm getting more the South Africa tour because I'm getting the 10 of Wands here in reverse, and the nobody asked if I'm okay energy, that it was a strategy. It was all quite deliberate. This is how I'm seeing it from the devil energy over here. The strategy with the Page of Swords. We did this very successful tour of Australia. We were so successful, and yet we were hung out to dry. The nasty press has just been on our cases ever since. It's so unfair. We can't cope anymore. Give us something very nice here, or we're off. And okay, bye. And so they were off. They were off, but in a big way. And I think that this strategy had that end goal in mind. He, the Hanged Man, might have had another end goal in mind. Might have thought, oh yes, I get a matching throne and I get an extra sausage in the same size room as William and half the Duchy of Cornwall. But my feeling from this reading is that this was the end goal, and it was accomplished. That is very much my speculation, very much my opinion. Interesting cards. And that's your reading. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow.